in any given city. Remember that? I mean,
I know that's right.
all over the place. When I was a traveling consultant, hey Larry, I'm in town. Let's hang
You know,
out.
it let me know how long ago it was when I asked you how old your son was, and you
I
told
know, I know it.
me. Yeah.
Yeah, we all getting a little bit up there, but you get 10 years on me, but you still look great, man.
Listen, I'm just an old anyway.
Uh, Come on now. But I tell you what, man, for folks who may not know you real well, can you give me a little biographical background on how you came up and where you're from?
Well, my name is Larry McCray. I was born in 1960 in Stevens, Arkansas. I lived in Arkansas from the time I was born till I was almost 12 years old. And I moved to Michigan with my sister Clara, who was a musician and guitarist from down that way. And the first one to expose me to guitar and guitarist music and get me involved with live music the whole 9 yards.
Isn't that great to have someone in the house and the family get you involved?
Right. I mean, I'm very lucky that way, to have had that. And I think it creates a bond amongst the siblings that people who don't have that could never imagine what it could be.
Yeah, yeah. And is Clara still playing, even if it's for herself or in church or?
No, Clara passed in the year 2000, so
I'm sorry.
she's been gone a long time.
Yeah, I never heard you mention her anything then in the past tense, so I was curious.
Well, sometimes things that hurt you don't remind yourself of it. You just try to let it pass on. But yeah, she's the one who got me started playing, and I never would have hit a note if it hadn't been for her.
Well, you hit lots of notes, man, and boy, there's some great footage. You just came off of this Joe Bonamassa Keeping the Blues Alive cruise, and I've seen you on the legendary Rhythm and Blues cruises. With I know I've got footage with you with Derek Trucks and Susan Tedeschi, and I've seen you with everybody, Magic Slim, Dickie Betts, the Allman Brothers Band. I remember that one night in the Beacon Theater, I was like yelling from the cheap seats, Larry, I didn't know you were on the show at the Beacon Theater. I was like, what up, Larry?
Yes, indeed.
And I got a hold of you finally the next morning, and you had that tryout with Phil Lesh the next day or so. Remember that?
What was the name of that place that he played?
The Beacon Theater.
No, where Phil played.
Oh, I don't know where he played.
It was on 9th and Houston. It was either Club Cubana, Club Jamaica. So it was something, it had the South American.
I don't know, man. I know a lot of the jam bands play the Wetlands, in
Right.
New York. But
that was on 18th, wasn't it?
Yeah. But I'm not sure, because I couldn't stick around for the Phil Lesh thing. I didn't have tickets for it, and I didn't have the time off from work.
I've been trying to. I asked someone the other day what was the name of that venue, what he played. I think it was Club Cubano or something. It had something either Club Jamaica or Jamaica something. I can't remember the name of it. But it was on 9th and Houston.
Yeah. Well, I got to tell you, man. My point is, I've seen you in so many situations with so many different people. And with Joe Bonamassa up, and he had you sit in Michigan and on the cruise, and you've been on stage with Joe and Eric Gales. These guys are the best of the business, and in my opinion, you're the best of the lot. But and I'm not trying to be biased because we're dear friends. It's
no.
Because I call it like I see it.
Right.
I don't think there's anybody, and I've told you this years ago. You were like Big Jack Johnson. I loved him. And you were, in the way that he was a beautiful male voice and an amazing guitarist. You are the same thing. And it is so hard to find that combination with the virtuosity and beauty of both coming together. And you've got it, man. And you play with more authority than any other guy out there slinging guitars today. You have that Albert King authority that just nobody else has, man.
Well, you know what? I'm lucky to have the upbringing that I had, Jimmy. You know, that's the music I was exposed to when I was a really small kid. I mean, you know, from a baby on.
Yeah.
And I really didn't know much about any other kind of music till I, you know, got a little old enough to understand, you know, maybe 10 years old or so before I really realized that it was more to it than the blues.
Right.
But beyond the blues, it was, you know, that was the birth of soul music also in the 60s.
Sure.
You know, so I was lucky enough to see the birth of R&B, the birth of soul, the birth of funk music, you know, and all these things, all these combinations derived from blues music. But in my opinion, it was just a different way to express the blues.
Absolutely.
With a different rhythm, you know, or maybe a more rhythmic presence than what the straight blues had. But it also it always had the same heart and the same soul. So you know, that's what gave me the envision to try to tie all these things together. And I think that that's where my music does come together. That you know, I take tradition, I take the electric blues, I take funk, soul, and R&B, and try to put them all together and come up with my own style of blues. That's my intent, whether I reach my goal or not.
Well, I think you have, Larry. You're very unique, and just the talent that you've developed over the years. Yeah, and you've been at this high level for many years. I mean, you know, you were on big labels there in the 90s for a while, and you know, they had that upswing when Stevie Ray Vaughan passed. You know, the blues really got more attention, and folks were getting paid a little better, and you know, people getting on better labels, and you know, and then it, you know, kind of cooled off here for a while, and it's been tough. But now, you know, Joe Bonamassa has recorded our friend Joanna Connor and other deserving people, and now he's tapped you, and you've got this new project, and Josh Smith has helped him with these projects. Tell me about, you know, working with these guys. I know that they came to visit you, and then you went in the studio. Tell me about the record, what the record is, what the process was with Joe and Josh.
Well, you know, first of all, as you said, you know, I had been out of the loop for a minute.
Yep.
And, you know, have always seemed to be a figure of controversy, no matter what I did or how nice I tried to be or how hard I worked to try to make everything work. I could never get it all working together at the same time, you know.
Well, you know, I mean, and like I said, we know each other really well. I think that the art has always been there. The business is very difficult to do while you're focused on the art, you know?
Exactly.
And
that
to trust
was always the problem.
It's tough to trust somebody with the business and keep your eye on, it's like keeping an eye on two balls when you're playing baseball. You can't do it.
No. And so, you know, that caused me to I didn't really buy out, you know. I just was more or less staying local and not trying to take it to the road so much anymore. You know, I just started staying closer within my familiar hub, you know.
Yep.
And when you don't take the music to the road, you know, the people forget about you. You know, it don't take long to forget about a song done. So
just
I'm
one or
just
two
happy
festival
that,
seasons, honestly, right? I mean, it takes one or two festival seasons to cool off the calls coming in.
That's right.
Yeah, it's tough.
So it meant a lot to get involved with Joe. I reached out to Joe by way of Larry Mitchell, who I was put in touch with Larry by this other guy named Paul Casarona, who I worked. I played Paul's 50th birthday party. So they had always been telling me, you know, get a hold of Joe. I heard Joe play some of your music the other day on the box and this and that and other, and I didn't believe him. And so I'd be like, yeah, right, man. You know, no.
Little MF session there. What's going on with the tech? But we're good now, right?
We're good.
So you were telling me, so your friend said, hey, Joe B was listening to you the other day on the box, and you really ought to give him a call.
So he had kept on me about giving him a call, give Joe a call.
And he's a great guy. Joe's a beautiful man.
Well, I didn't know. I mean, you know, I had met Joe. I met Joe a long time ago in Nashville one night. He and Eric Gales and I got a chance to hang out at BB's in Nashville, like right around 2000, 2001.
So it's been a minute there, yeah.
Yeah. So finally, when I did text him, I said, Joe B, this is bluesman Larry McCray reaching out to see if there's any possibilities that maybe we could do something together. In an hour's time, less than an hour, he called me back. Hey, Larry McCray, yeah, it'd be nice if we could do something, and blah 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 blah. So it floored me, man. I didn't even think that he would get back to me at all, and when he got back to me, I mean, it was the start of a lot of great things. So we had a conversation, and he said, okay, well, I'll be in touch with you soon, and we'll do this. So it was months that passed. It probably was 8 or 9, 10 months before I ever heard from him again.
Yeah.
And when I did hear from him again, he was like, okay, we're coming to Detroit. I said, okay, no problem. So I was figuring that maybe they, come down to one of the rehearsal studios there. When he called me again and was ready to come, he was like, what's your address? We coming to your house. I was like, oh, crap.
Honey, we gotta clean quick.
Yeah. So I got everything ready for Joe B and Josh to come in, man. And we just spent 3 really, really wonderful days together, in July, 12, 13, 14. Mm-hmm. So when they came, I think they came to expect to have to write all the music and everything. And it's just a good thing that I had songs when they got here. So it made it that much easier for it all to come together,
That's good, because when Joanna hooked up with Joe, they had I asked her, I said, did you have a long list? And then when you get to the studio, you guys whittled that down. And she's like, yeah, we kind of had some ideas, but they really kind of hammered that out just a couple days before they went in the studio, which has got to be nerve-wracking rather than having some stuff that you're really looking forward to recording already. And it's fortuitous that Joe and Josh liked what you had, obviously. Right.
So it was great, man. I mean, it was great to have them here at the house. We already had the material and everything, and so he told me, when he wanted to record. So when the time came up, they came in July, and we recorded the last of August. I was in the studio from the August 31st until the 8th of September.
Now, did you go down to Nashville to record at that point?
We did it in LA.
In LA, okay. That's right. He's got a pad in both places.
Yeah.
Did he take you over to Norm's Rare Guitars there while you were there?
We didn't go to Norm's, but he took me to Nerdville.
Oh, that is good.
Yeah. So I got a chance to go there and see Nerdville West. He's got Nerdville Nashville, Nerdville West, and Nerdville East out in northern New York.
Yep.
Yeah. But it really is an amazing place. I mean, I've never seen so many collectible items in one, not even at the store. I mean, Joe B got a museum going on over there,
Yeah, no, I actually, one of the nicer visits I've had with Joe is, I had attended a thing at the Smithsonian called the Blue Guitars exhibit, and friends who played concerts for it. So they produced a book of all the guitars produced for this Smithsonian exhibit, and I bought 2, thinking, oh, I'll definitely have a friend who will want one. And I ended up giving it to Joe, and he was so flattered. He's like, "You sure you want to part with this?" I said, "No, I bought an extra one to give to a friend, man." And he just was so reverent the way he treated it when he looked at it, and he loved it, and was so appreciative. And man, we were fast friends ever since. We were friendly up until then, but he was just really flattered that I thought of him, And
the more I get to know him, the more that I regret that I didn't know him when he was really small. I really wish, I'm 20, probably about 20 years older than Joe.
Yeah.
And I just see his pictures, and stuff. I've seen some film of him when he was a little guy and everything. He just looked like he was so precious, man. But the thing of it is that, he didn't lose it. When he got older, when he got grown, he didn't turn right. And sometimes, when a kid,
You got it.
is a special kid and everybody knows it, and they get the special treatment, sometimes it's not always such a pretty scene. They full of themselves, and just a lot of bad things can come out of being a special child or being a prodigy.
Yeah.
But he handled it well, and even into his adulthood now, he's just a cool cat, man. And I'm really glad I got a chance to know him better, to get to
Real normal player. Yeah. I mean,
yeah, he's a great guy. You can't say nothing but good about it.
you were an auto worker. You're in the Rust Belt, right?
Right.
And I lived in the Rust Belt in Baldwinsville, New York, which is upstate New York, which was just about an hour from Utica, where Joe grew up.
Right.
I played hockey in Utica, New York all the time when I was living up there. And so I knew the city from that. And then actually my sister's son played in a New York-based collegiate summer baseball league last year. And I went up to catch a bunch of games, and Utica was one of the teams they played. And it had been a long time since I've been up there. And I actually went to a barber who the son took over the barber shop, but the dad had been Joe's barber when he was growing up. Right. And we had a nice chat. But Utica is one of those cities that the manufacturing is gone. It's like Flint. Utica's like Flint right now, man.
Really?
They had like a big beech nut candy factory that's and they had a lot of beer brewing, and one of the breweries is still open, but a lot of them have gone by, and a lot of the manufacturing's gone. So it's a hard scrabble town, man. And Joe, I think, has always been from a working class family, and he had that work ethic as a child, and he didn't mess around. He knew it was going to be work, and he took care of business, and he always has, and that's why he's so successful.
Well, you see him when he's doing his thing on stage, with his dark glasses and his suit, and he's cool and all that. He looked like ice cold, like he got ice water in his veins. But when you get a chance to know him, you see the other side, which is 180 degrees in the other direction.
Yeah, I mean, he is a nerd too. He loved. Like, I brought him a recording of Ronnie Earl with Anson Funderburgh, Paul Rochelle, and Sam Myers.
Yeah.
And he geeked out on it. They did this like 20-minute version of Merry Christmas Baby. And I'm pretty sure that's why he put a version of Merry Christmas Baby out. But he was like, oh my God, Jim, I swear to God, I listen to this every year. He says, that's one of the best recordings anybody's ever given me. And he loves stuff like that. You bring him bootleg, like special shows and stuff. He like, oh man, I love that. And he's just a big geek when it comes to the music and the guitars and everything.
Well, that's the thing of it is, everybody doesn't have that amount of passion for anything. To love anything that much, to love it, to really love it, that's it, man. That much, that's what reflects in his guitar playing. Absolutely. You imagine how much he loved his guitar. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's why I wish I had known him when he was a little guy, to see the effect what the music had on him, and to see how it made him feel. Because I know when I was a little kid, I didn't get the gift like what he had, but I was gifted somewhat, in my music and stuff like that. And I know the frustration of trying to learn, but I also know the emotional turmoil that I was in as a kid. I used to wake up at night and cry and stuff, and they couldn't figure out why I was crying, and wasn't nothing wrong, and I don't really know why I was crying either, but I think I had the blues. Well, for real, and I didn't know how to tell nobody, or my mom then would get up in the middle of the night, boo, what's wrong, baby, nothing, I don't know,
didn't have words for it or whatever it was.
Didn't know how to explain it.
Yeah.
Didn't know how to explain it. So I know it must have sent him through some changes too, man. He told me that when he first got his guitar, it was one thing. But then when he started hearing all these pyro players, these guys and boo, really burning, he said, wow, he said, that'll do that too? You mean I got one that'll do that too? So he was curious enough to tackle on whatever it took to get to that point.
Yeah.
And that's what my curiosity is. I'm very curious in terms of what make things work, what make things tick, that kind of thing. So I love that, you know what I mean?
So let's move on to, so you go out to LA and
sorry about that.
oh no, it was great. No, it's great to know that how that relationship is cemented now, it's great. And so you work out what tunes, when he comes to Detroit, but you go to LA, and who do you have in studio with you?
In the studio, we have one, Mr. Reese Winan on the keyboard, Stevie Ray's.
So spoiled. You so spoiled.
I know, man. So that was like, going to the diamond mine. We had Reese Winan.
Yeah.
We had Travis Carlton on bass, which is Larry Carlton's son. Travis and his. Okay. But, and plus I had met Travis, and I see Travis around with Robin Ford, doing some different shows with Robin. So I had met him, and Travis also plays with Kurt Fletcher.
Right.
So him and Fletcher had just come to the Biscuit, the last one they had before the pandemic. So it was a refresher on that. We had kind of got acquainted from them. So Travis Carlton, Reese Winan, Lamar Carter played drums because my brother Steve, is got his health issues and stuff going on now.
Yeah.
You've been seeing him. I'm sure you probably see him on the Facebook.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's dealing with that, and Joe played rhythm guitar.
Yep.
So it was me, Joe, Lamar Carter, Reese Winan, and Travis Carlton.
Of course, you probably looked over at Travis.
Oh, and Josh Smith. Josh,
of course.
Yeah.
Of course, you used to have Johnny B. Gaden on bass, so look over at Travis and go, "I used to play with Johnny B."
Yeah. Well, he talked to Travis, spoke about that too, and how big of a Gaten fan he was, and everything. And also one of my favorites is Bobby Watson.
Yeah.
So Travis is the generation behind us.
Yeah.
So we were like his big brothers, and stuff like that. So it's just really amazing to me when you out there doing your thing, when you playing and doing gigs or whatever. Well, back in them days you didn't anyway. You didn't really think about nobody seeing you or who was watching, other than the people there.
Right.
Now everything you do is documented and everybody sees it.
Right.
And
and there it is.
Yeah. So I mean, the young people have put a different focus on the music, and it's really making you tighten up your game, really making you try a little bit harder.
You feel it,
that you're doing your best because people watching you, people seeing you. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, I love that Club Callahan's, that was near my sister Peggy's house that you played at. There's a guy that tapes almost every show up in there, man.
Exactly. I don't know if that's going anymore, Jimmy.
Yeah, I know it. I knew that they were fixing to close and retire, and then they reopened, and they had fits and starts. I'm not sure either.
Right.
You always have a threat of Jim McCarty coming to sit in with you in there.
Right.
He's
that's my guy. I love Jimmy McCarty.
Oh, why wouldn't you, man?
Yeah.
So you get in the studio.
So we were doing the rhythm section. So when I got there, like I say, Reese Winan, Travis Carlton, Lamar Carter, Josh Smith, and Joe Bonamassa. And the first morning, I mean, we did on the first 2 days. I think we did 3 tracks. The first 3 days, we did Bam Bam Down. We did 9 tracks.
Wow.
And then we had 2 more to finish in 4 days. And get all the vocal, go back and do all the vocals. And so I worked my ass off, man, for about 7 days. And then one day we just took for a rest day.
Yeah. Was your voice getting a little banged out, or were you doing all right? How were you feeling?
It was tough. It was tough finishing the project. By the time I got to the end of it, I was struggling a little bit. But, all in all, I did good. And if I have any regrets, it would be maybe for my vocal performance, but not many, just only in 1 or 2 spots. And, you know, a couple spots here and there that had I been more familiar with Joe, had we worked together before, I would have stood up and said, hey, let me fix that line. But, you know, as it was, I was trying to be compliant and just make sure that, you know, I was a good client, you know, somebody easy going, easy to work with, you know.
End of the day, though, it's your product. I mean, it's your name on it as well as his. You know, so I don't see him being riled up if you said, hey, let's roll the tape back and listen to that one back and let's think about it another take.
It wasn't contorted enough to really make a problem out of it.
Right.
But I'm just saying, in a perfect world, you know, I would have, you know what I'm saying.
Oh, and everybody's their own toughest critic too. I mean, come on, Larry. I mean, I probably would listen to it with Joe and go, oh, that was marvelous. And you would be like, I can do it.
You know how it is. Yeah.
I'm a writer by trade. When I used to write short stories or poems or whatever in college, you know, when I was award-winning writer, I'd be like, I got to rewrite that before I submit it. And people be like, oh my God, no.
They'd be raving over your work as it was.
Yeah. Professors don't know it's ready. Submit it to that magazine. No, I need more time. Well, the deadline is tomorrow, Jim. It's either shit or get off the plot.
Now or never.
Now or never. So do it. You know. So I assume you had a ball on the cruise. How was the cruise?
Man, that cruise was wonderful. You know, I got a chance to reconnect with Eric Gales. I hadn't seen Eric for so long. I met a lot of young talent on there that I didn't know.
Like, so who jumped out at you as a talent?
Let me see. I'm trying to remember. I can't even remember half the kids' name. What was on the boat, because
it was a great lineup. I almost got a last minute ticket because, you know, with COVID there were a few cabins available.
Oh, I did get a chance to hook back up with George Thorogood. You know what I'm saying? I toured with George in the early 90s. So to see him and the boys out there still doing it, he had a birthday on the boat. He turned 72 on the boat.
Yeah, man. He's still doing it, man. I gotta love him for that.
Still out there doing it. Yeah. So I'm trying to Robert John and the Wreck, I like. I really was a big fan of John Tavius Willis. Robert John had a guitar player by the name of Henry James that I quite like the way Henry played. I thought he was really energetic, played good. I saw my buddy Jimmy Vivino and see Jimmy Steve.
Dynamite. Yeah.
And who else was on there? The War and Treaty. You hip to them?
No, not at all.
War and Treaty. That's what's their first name? I know their name. Hang on, just anyway, it's a husband and wife act, and they're songwriter and performance together. You gotta check them out. It's called The War and Treaty.
Yeah, I saw them on the bill. I hadn't looked them up yet, but it's an intriguing name.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think of who. What was that keyboard player, that young boy from New Orleans that had that real high pitched voice? You remember him? Yeah. I need to find some of my my thing with all the names on there. I brought some of that stuff home. Hey, give me 1 second. I know where it is. 1 second.
All right, man.
Hey. Let's see here. Keeping the blues alive at sea. Yeah. Kev Moe.
He's all right.
Samantha Fish, Eric Gale, Shamika Copeland, Tyler Bryan, and Shakedown. Now I know Tyler from coming through Michigan, and his wife is Larkin of Larkin Poe.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they're great.
I thought I had my ringer turned down already. Now I'll tell you this kid's name in 1 second. The kid, okay, Tyler Bryan, The War and Treaty, Sue Foley, Papa Chubby, Larry McCray, Robert John and the Wreck, Vanessa Carty, GA20. You know who they from Boston?
I know Matt Stubbs. Yeah, the band.
Oh, you know
Matt
GA.
Stubbs.
I
know
like
Matt.
him.
Yep.
Robert John.
Yep.
John Tavis, Jeremy Albino, Justin Saladino, Jay and the Cosways, Angelique Francis, and Dwayne Haggins.
I'd be happy on a cruise with just me and Sue Foley, and the rest of you could stay home. Sorry, Larry. He's beautiful.
She was doing good, man. She seemed like she was doing good.
Yeah, man. Not bad for a Canadian.
Huh?
Not bad for a Canadian, right?
Not bad for Canadian. I hadn't seen her in forever too, man. I used to do a bunch of shows with Sue in the early days, and she left from up this way and went to Austin, Texas. And that was it, you know, once she moved there.
Yep. Well, that's good stuff. So the other thing I want to touch on, so you've done some of these Allman family revivals, and you're going back out with Devon Allman. And so I'm going to see you in Connecticut and in Massachusetts. So I'll be at those shows. So we'll
coming?
Yeah, I'm not going to miss you coming to town, man. Come on now.
Right on, bro. Right on.
Second, I tell you on that.
That's pretty exciting for me. I mean, you know, to work with Devon, you know, because I knew his dad and, you know, worked with the brothers so many different times, you know. I had met Devon out on the road, you know, well before doing these things. I mean, we've probably known each other for the last 10 years and, you know, have did a lot of festivals and stuff together. So to be on the same bill was kind of natural. It was like, hey, man, how you doing? You know, everything was really pleasant. The one who I hadn't been around much was Dwayne Betts.
Yeah.
And he's now I really like him, man. He's a good soul too, you know, just easy going, love his music, you know, good player and everything. So I mean, you know, it was real easy to do. It was fun actually being a guest, you know.
Oh yeah, and you know, Jimmy Hall's on a lot of those dates from Wet Willie, and I thought he did great, you know, when I saw the revival, and Samantha Fish is on, I think, some dates.
Robert
Randolph, who I just saw this week.
Lamar Williams Jr.
Yeah, I love Lamar doing vocals, and then of course the dates that you're not doing, Eric Gales is doing, but you're doing the majority of the Devon Allman Project dates coming up.
Right.
And I think Eric's doing about 3 or 4 or 5 or something, but
he ain't on all of them.
Huh?
Eric is not on all the East Coast dates.
No, the way it's listed right now is he's on the ones that you're not.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean, you know, sometimes these things are subject to change and people crop up on these shows. So you never know. But he's a busy dude. He's got a lot of dates on his calendar.
Oh yeah. Ever since he got himself straightened out and got in Joe's camp, man, you know, things have been looking up for him as well. So
and I'm,
you know, that's a good thing. Yeah, me too.
The last time I went on Joe's cruise, I had dinner with Eric and LaDonna, and they were just so nice, you know. And
he really had matured into a nice young man. I mean, I remember him from the kid days and stuff, and you know, he come a long way.
Right, and he had him and his 2 brothers. I mean, of course, he lost one brother.
Right.
You know, that was tough.
Them jokers used to give Bill Street hell, boy.
Yeah, I bet, man.
Hell yeah! When I first went down there, I didn't know it was 2 of them motherfuckers, man. Little Jimmy and Twin. It was like Crossroads, man. I'd be over there across the street at BB, messing with one of the Gales boys, you know, whatever. All right, man, holler at you later. And I get across the street. This motherfucker done beat me across the street. I'm like, how the hell you get over here quicker than I did, and I just left you over there, you know? So it took me a minute to find out and to figure out that it was twins. It was 2 of them, identical, you know? And then I had to figure out how to tell one from the other.
Right.
And once you was around both of them, you could tell them apart, but not. It took a minute. I mean, it takes a. You really had to study them Gales boys to know which one was who. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of talent there, though. All three of them were super talented, man.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
so we're gonna see you on these East Coast dates with Devon, which is super exciting. And then festival season. What do you have booked for festival season that folks can look forward to?
Well, when I finish the East Coast dates with Devon, I'm going straight to Sarasota to rehearse with some guys to
Mhm.
do Spring in the Blues. I booked
I
Spring in
saw
the
that.
Blues in 19, and inclement weather shut
Mhm.
us down in 19 where that I couldn't do it. Kingfish was there the year that in 19. So Kingfish played right before we did at the
Mhm.
time. When he got down and was pulling his stuff off the stage, a bad wind and cloud like a tornado
Mhm.
blew up, and the man got on the horn and they shut the park down. We didn't get a chance to do it. That's 2019.
Man.
2020 was the COVID.
Yeah.
21 was the COVID. Now this is 4 years later. We trying to honor this gig 4 years later.
It's a great festival. It's run very well, and I think it's really gotten bigger over the years. But when I was in my 20s, I was actually working in Jacksonville Beach, and
Okay.
so I remember going over to see Big Jack Johnson. There was one day that Frank Frost and the Nighthawks, Frank and Sam Carr, were
Yeah.
backed up by the North Mississippi All Stars. They were just coming up.
What did they play at that Freebirds Club there?
No, it was on the stage on the beach where they do it.
Oh,
So,
okay.
so one day, and I don't know why they didn't put Big Jack on the same day with Frank Frost and the Nighthawks with the North Mississippi All Stars, so that you could get a jam out of it. But
It would have been a whole. It would have been a whole ball of wax.
that would have been down home. That would have been crazy.
Yeah.
But anyway, so they had those guys one day and Big Jack the next day, and Susan Tedeschi was on it, and Sean Costello was with her, and Brian Templeton and his band that was traveling back in those days was down there, and it was just a great time, man. So no complaints, but beautiful. I mean, it was Easter and people were in bikinis. You don't get that in Boston.
No. The first time I ever went to that festival, to the Spring of the Blues,
Mhm.
was my band, Michael Burks, Susan Tedeschi with a three-piece girl band.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, you remember Adrian, the
Adrian Hayes.
guitar?
Yeah, I know.
Yep,
Adrian.
it was her, Philip Walker,
Oh yeah, I love that.
I want to say Anson,
Mm-hmm.
and I can't remember who all else was there that year, but I remember them bands being there.
They always
And,
do that stuff though, and it's a free festival. I mean, you can get VIP seats for money, but it's a free festival otherwise. Like great sponsorship.
yeah, man. I mean, I remember laying in the hotel room on that beach,
Mhm.
letting the waves sing you to sleep. You leave your door open where you can hear the wave.
Yeah,
They just and all the porpoises that
yeah.
was on the beach. You ever seen all them there?
Well, I had a second floor of a two-story house that was just across the street from the beach where I was.
Uh-huh.
I was actually in Fernandina Beach, which is you have to take a ferry to get over to Jacksonville Beach.
Okay.
It's nearby. It's Amelia Island is where Fernandina Beach is, and then
Okay.
but it's 20, 30-minute drive tops. And then but yeah, so I was on my porch every morning eating breakfast, watching those porpoises, man, because I never
Man,
seen anything like that.
no, me neither, man. I mean that many of them. I mean, it's just tons of them, and they come right up on the beach. You could walk off on the beach and be out there with them if you want to.
That was a funny project there, Larry, because for about a month on that project, because it lasted about, I don't know, 4 or 5 months, and I stayed in a Shoney's for about a month, and you probably stayed in plenty of Shoney's.
Oh,
And my boss is like, hell, Jim, you know, the project got enough money. It's actually cheaper for you to get a corporate apartment month to month rather than you getting a car week to week. Get yourself
Right.
a Mustang convertible for the month, and it'll be cheaper. Project too. So I got myself a Mustang convertible, and I got an apartment on the beach. I was having a ball, man.
Them was the days. I wish them days could come back.
Oh, you and me both. Well, man, this was fun catching up, and you know, I can't wait to see you. And you know, you got to tell me what people can get the record pre-release orders right now, right? You can't buy the
Right,
whole record yet. So tell me
right, right. No,
how
it's
can they
just,
get
it's
the
just.
record?
I think it's just all pre-sales right now. The record is going to be released March 25th, in in 2 weeks.
Right, right. So what's the
It-
best way for people to go? Can they get it on Amazon, on your website? What websites can they get it at?
Amazon, and I believe they're going to be available at mine too. But right now, Amazon,
Yeah, yeah,
until I get it all worked out with Joe and know how they're going to handle things. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
I got
But
it.
I'm not for sure too. Weisblatt might have some too when
Yeah.
it's all said and done at the White Leaf website.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. What I want to do, Barry, Jimmy, I want to make sure I got your number because I'm gonna
Well, it's right there in the chat, man.
okay, hang on just a minute, just one second. I think I got it anyway. Oops.